Hello, beautiful people. It's your girl Jeannie, and it's Jeannie's Signature. So, I welcome you all to my tutorial for today. So, today's tutorial is just going to be this beautiful flag gown with this beautiful design at the upper part. So, this was the inspiration, and I'll be showing you shortly how I made mine. So, if this is what you're interested in, please sit back, relax, and enjoy it. So, this is what I made, and it came out looking beautiful as well. So, if you want to lift up your flare game, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this beautiful tutorial because it's going to be well detailed and it's going to be very simple. But if you're a beginner, even if you're an advanced person, you can still do well to watch this and then you're going to be enjoying the tutorial. This came out very beautiful and nice and yeah, thank you all and God bless you. So without wasting further time, we'll be going over to the cotton of this beautiful piece shortly. So that's the back. So thank you to all my amazing subscribers all over the world. I really appreciate everybody. So let's go over to cotton of this beautiful piece. So I'll be folding my fabric in a bias format. If you know how to cut a flare, you can go ahead and do all the needful, but this tutorial is essentially for people that are new or beginners that don't really know how to go about all this. So please sit back, relax. Just fold your fabric in a bias and then go ahead to get your shoulder measurement divided by 2 on the exact line that you want. Just use your tape to indicate that, and then you'll be getting your shoulder divided by 2 plus half an inch for joining of the sleeve, or you can use 1 inch. So that's basically what I'm trying to do. Divided my shoulder, and then I came down by my bust points, my bust for my armhole. Whatever I got on my shoulder is what I came down to mark this, so I'll get a straight line for the armhole off. And so now I'll just go ahead and slant my shoulder by 1 inch. And then on the bust area, on the chest line, I'll divide the bust by 4 and then add the sewing allowances. So the only measurement you need for this tutorial is your shoulder measurement and then your bust measurement. Then you carve out your armhole. And then of course you're going to be needing the length of the gown. So this is going to be a short gown, but I'm not going to be making it too short. And then for the neckline, I'm not going to be making it too uptight. I'll be making it a little bit lower than that of the models. So now just go ahead and then from the shoulder area, I'll mark the length of the gown by rotating it and placing the tape as you see me doing, like so. So this is me getting the full length. So now I haven't gotten the full length. The next thing for me is to join, is to run a straight line from the armhole down to the length of the gown, like so. So I'll cut the shoulder slope, and then I'll come out to cut out the full length. Now you can see the way I'm cutting it out because the fabric will not get to that point, but I'll be joining it later on to make up for the length. And then I'll cut out the sides, and then I'll cut out the armhole for the back first because I'll be placing these on my fabric again to cut out the back piece. So the neckline, I used 3.5 by 4.5, but if you want it as the models, just use 3 by 3. You can see, I'll make up for the length later on. So let me fold my fabric again and then cut out the back piece. So I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into two, and then I've cut it out. I just added a zipper allowance of 1 inch to the back piece. That's why I didn't bother to show you how I did that. So the only thing you do is just add 1 inch for zipper, and then for the neck depth just come down by 1 inch or 1.5 inches. So that's basically what I did to get the back piece. I didn't bother to show that. I've already gone ahead to add up the remaining length that is supposed to be to make up for the length of the fabric. So I'm going to be placing the back on the front like this, as in just make sure you align it properly, because we're going to be getting that beautiful design that we have on the upper part of the bodies. So you can see me, I'm trying to arrange this very well because I don't want stories that touch. So you need to properly align it very well before you go ahead and do whatever you have to do, because if not, you're going to be making mistakes and that will not be proper. So I think I've been able to arrange it very well now. So the next thing for me to do is that I wanted to use a white chalk, but I don't know where the white chalk went. So I'm making use of this blue chalk. So now you make sure that you measure from your shoulder. What I'll be measuring downwards is going to be 6 inches or 7 inches. I measured 7 inches here from the armhole point, and then from the neck point depth I'll be marking about 16 or 17 inches. So this is just for me to slant out that beautiful shape that we have in the front. So I'll be using my hip curve ruler to do this. So I'll just place it like this. I just don't want it to be V like that. I want it to be a little bit curvy, but at least at the same time V. So you can see the way I connected the two lines, and then I think the blue line is also obvious. So I'm going to be cutting out this part because we'll be replacing it with our plain fabric. So remember, I'm cutting both the front and back together because they need to be synonymous, they need to be aligned. So I'll set those main fabric aside, and so these are the necklines we have for the back and then the front. So I'll be bringing my plain fabric that I'll be using to cut out these parts. So when I need to fold it into two, I'll be cutting out the front piece first before cutting out the back piece. Now to the front piece, at that lower part, you'll be adding half an inch because you need half an inch to join it back to the fabric. Every other thing remains exactly the same. The only point you're adding half an inch is at that point where you cut it out from the fabric. And so this is what we have. And then we'll do the same thing for the back piece. I'll be using my fabric to cut that out too. I was trying to arrange it thinking I'll be able to cut it once, but I couldn't, so I had to cut it one after the other. You're not using two pieces because of the zipper allowance. And in this our craft, you need to learn the habit of how do I put it? Habit of managing. You need to manage fabrics. You don't need to waste it. Even if the fabric is full of everywhere, you need to learn how to manage. So that is basically what you see me doing. You don't want to waste the fabrics because everything now is too expensive, so you just have to manage very well. All of us are managers. So now place this on the fabric again and then cut out the other piece. So when cutting the back piece as well, remember to add half an inch for joining. Just notch the zipper. And so this is what we have. So we'll be discarding these main fabrics now because they're useless. We don't need them again. All we'll be needing is the plain one because it's going to be replacing the main fabric. So for the front piece, I'll bring in the main fabric and then place it like this. Just use your pin to hold it down, then go ahead to your sewing machine and then sew it down. And then for the back pieces as well, I'm going to be repeating the same thing. So I do well to use pins to hold that down and then go ahead and run my stitches of half inch on it to join it together. And then I'll be back to show you the next step. So while I'm doing that, I'll just go ahead and then cut out my sleeves. So this sleeve is just going to be in form of an A shape. So because of my fabric, I couldn't do it more A shape like I wanted, but it still came out nice. If you want a tutorial on how I did this sleeve, I already have detailed tutorials on how to cut this type of sleeves on the tutorial. Please do well to check out my tutorials and you'll be glad you did. So I cut out the two sleeves at the same time. So now I've gone ahead to join them. So this is the back pieces, as you can see. You can see that it formed the A shape very well. And then from the front piece as well, you can see how beautiful it looks. It has given us the shape that we want. So the next thing for me to do now is to just go ahead, use bias to turn the necklines and then join it on the shoulders. So I've gone ahead to do that. I've not added my zipper here. I just close it out temporarily with stitches. So I'll be opening up the stitches later, but I have to fix my sleeves first before going further to adorn it with anything I'm going to be making use of, because that side on the front has to align with the sleeve. So I'm going to be measuring that plain fabric, which was about 6.5 inches. So that is basically what I'll be measuring here, but this is not actually the place I'm supposed to measure this. Don't worry, I'll be showing you as we move on. This is exactly where I'm supposed to measure my 6.5 inches. It's supposed to be at the curvy part of the sleeve. It's supposed to be at the curvy part of the sleeve. So that's basically what I wanted to confirm before going ahead to do that. So go to the curvy part of the sleeve and then measure out that 6.5 inches as well, what you have there. But instead of 6.5 inches, I'll be measuring out 7. Remember, I've joined it on the shoulders. So instead of measuring 6.5, I'll measure 7. And then at this folded part of the sleeve, I'll come down by about 8 or 9 inches and then slant it out like so. So remember, we have joined the sleeve on the shoulder, that's why it's 6.5. So you need to cut out about 7 inches on the curvy parts so that it would align properly. So now just go ahead and cut this out. So this part that I cut out is what I'll be cutting out on the plain fabric to make up for the sleeve parts. So just fold into two like this and then you cut it out. Or if you can fold into four and cut out the two at the same time, it's all well and good. So when cutting this, remember to add about half an inch as well to join it to the main fabric as well. Just like we did when we're cutting the other plain fabrics. So fold again and then cut out the second one. So we have the two now, so I'll just keep that aside and then go ahead and show you how we're going to be doing it on the sleeve part. So for the sleeve part, just take the plain fabrics and then go ahead and join it to make it up for the sleeve. Just go and sew it like this and then sew it like so. So that's how we're going to be doing the two sleeves. Close out your sleeves and then you go ahead and fix on your fabric. I will not be showing all that. The only thing is I'll be showing you the end product when I must have fixed the sleeves. So let me quickly do that and I'll be back. So I've gone ahead to do that and this is what we have. So you can see what I was saying when we said it must align. So do well to try it and make sure it's properly aligned on both sides. Yeah, there's a reason for that. So now just go up and open my stitches that I closed out. You know I told you I've not fixed my zipper because the zipper is going to be the last thing that I will be doing. So I've gone ahead to bring out my what I'll be using to beautify these stitches. So I got this 200 naira per yard. So I bought like about 3 yards and I just used 2.5 2.5 yards. So I'll be using it to I'll run it across from one point to the other like so, giving it that beautiful look that we had in the on the models one. So this is how it came out looking. This is the front. It went all through the sleeve and then came to the back. And at the back you can see that it's properly aligned. So make sure to do yours and let it come out looking beautiful. So the only thing left is just to fold the hem of the fabric. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Check your bye.